These are your top 10 kickers for week 4 of fantasy football. I'll tell you right now that 6 of these 10 are available on the waiver wire in over 50% of leagues. And if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that like and subscribe to get this video every single week. We're going to start with Will Lutz. And the thing you're going to love about this guy, not only is he available in 79% of leagues, he also has an amazing matchup this week. This week, he's facing the Cincinnati Bengals. And if you didn't know, just like quarterbacks and wide receivers can stack, defenses and kickers stack as well. They have boom weeks in the same week, and this is definitely a boom week for the Denver defense. The Bengals have been struggling mightily on offense with Jake Browning with turnovers. Everybody's fumbling. Nobody's motivated. They're throwing interceptions. They are losing big in these games, and that's giving the kicker so much opportunity. We may see the Vikings kicker on this list later in this video, but right now, I think Will Lutz is a great add for your team. He's going to be cheap because most people in your league, they're not watching this video. They're not even thinking about looking at the matchup, but this is exactly why you subscribe here, because Will Lutz is the perfect start to this video to add for your week 4 lineup. Number 9, one of our less available options is Tyler Loop. He's still available in 21% of leagues, but we look right now, he's been pretty good so far. Week 1 against Buffalo, 2 against Cleveland, even week 3 against Detroit, he had some pretty good weeks. Now, week 4, I think he may struggle a little bit more than he did week 1 and 2, just because I think the Chiefs and the Ravens will both play a little bit slower brand of football. We talked that defenses and kickers can stack. They can both score big points the same week. I don't see the Ravens defense doing that well against the Chiefs. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I know the Ravens have been scoring points against everybody, but I still think overall it's going to be a slower run-first game, a lot like we saw with the Detroit game where he only scored 7 points. That's why I have him a little bit lower on this list when most weeks, like when they face Houston, when they face Chicago, when they face Miami, he's going to be a top 3 kicker on the week. Right now, I've got him at number 9. Number 8, I've got Ed Pinheiro available in 99% of leagues. So he's probably available in your league right now. And I like what he's been doing so far. Week 2 with 9 points. Week 3 with 12 points. And week 4, he's facing Jacksonville. So we look at his short yardage field goals. He's done pretty good with the 30 to 49 range. He's done good from the 50 plus as well, making one of those against the Cardinals. So this is a guy they're going to trust heading into this week. They've been moving down the field. They've been getting him into range. They don't always score a touchdown, which gives him extra opportunity. So I think if you need a kicker, you don't want to spend any waiver wire or fab. For the 8th kicker on the week, you can add Eddie Pinheiro. Number 7 was my kicker of the week last week. Unfortunately, he had a miss. Otherwise, he would have absolutely crushed. But I still like Matt Prater against the Saints. This is another game where the Bills should score a lot of points. They should do pretty well on defense. The Saints offense has actually been better than a lot of people expected. Chris Olave having a good season, Juwan Johnson having a good season. But I still think Matt Prater is a great choice. We see him having a great season so far, so I think this is a guy you can lock in your lineup, and he is available in 52% of leagues. So if he's available, this is a solid add for week 4. One of my favorite kickers of the season, someone that you can start all year long, is Joey Sly, and he's available in 90% of leagues. We head to the game log right now. Week 1, 15. Week 2, 17. Week 3, 9 points. How could you not want to start this guy? Now, week 4, I don't love the matchup against Houston. I could see this being a pretty low-scoring game. I do like that Houston defense, and the Tennessee offense has been off and on in certain games. Sometimes they're driving down the field. Sometimes they're making some huge mistakes, but I still love Joey Sly. They let him attempt a 62 and a 64-yard field goal in this game. So he missed 2 field goals, still had 9 fantasy points, still not a bad week, but he's someone that you definitely want to add. If they're going to let him kick those 60-yarders, that's how you have those massive boom weeks where he's scoring 20-plus points. So adding Joey Sly, available in 90% of leagues, is a great move this week and for the entire season. I told you we'd see Will Reichard on this list, and I guess I made the list, so I knew that, but he's available in 88% of leagues, and this week he's playing my Pittsburgh Steelers. And so far, he's been pretty awesome. 9 points, 8 points, 14 points. We'll take every bit of that. He's had a 50-plus yard field goal every single week, and this week they're facing the Steelers. Now, the Steelers have been struggling on defense. If you watch the game, the box score doesn't do it justice. They had 2 turnovers on the absolute goal line. They were letting the Patriots drive all the way down the field. That's into field goal range, and then stopping them in the red zone. That's exactly what we want when we're picking up a kicker. Allowing someone to drive down the field and then stopping them in the red zone. That's really been the Steelers' strength this year. That's how they've been winning some games, is getting those red zone stops, and that's exactly why you want to have Will Reichard in your lineup. And I also like how they have Carson Wentz. They also have Jordan Mason. That combination means this Minnesota offense is looking a lot better than they did week 1 and 2. So I also like the potential and the safety of them just scoring a good amount of points in this game. Whether they can't score, they're going to be getting field goals. And if they can score, you have that safety of those extra points. So Will Reichard is a top 5 kicker for this week and available in so many. Number 4, the man, the myth, last year's MVP, Chris Boswell. He's just an awesome kicker. The one downside here is the Steelers, they scored 3 touchdowns in week 3. And against Minnesota, I think they may struggle to move the ball even a little bit. So I'm worried that they're going to not be able to make it into the field goal range. Even though Boswell does have a great leg, he can kick it from distance. He's also very accurate. Love this guy as a kicker, but I am worried about him a little bit getting in range. Now, keep in mind, I have him as a top 4 kicker on the week, so I still think he's going to be great, still a great start, but against Minnesota, a tougher defense, I am slightly worried about that. You can also look that week 5, he has a bye. Week 6, they play Cleveland. So I'm not saying you should drop him, but if there ever was a time where you would drop him for somebody else because you may not want to have him on your roster next week, you may just want to add someone with a great matchup this week, maybe one of the next players on this list that is available on the waiver wire. Our number 3 kicker of the week and available in 66% of leagues is Spencer Shrader. Look at how he's crushed week 1, week 2, week 3. Now, the reason he's not higher on this list is simply because they're facing the Rams. Next week, week 5, week 6, week 7, we'll see week 7. But the next couple weeks, he's going to be a top tier guy, maybe even number 2, maybe even number 1 most weeks, because that's where he's been. 16 points, 18 points, 10 points. Facing the Rams, that's a tough matchup. But I also think the Colts are going to be able to handle business in this game. They've been great. So even if the Rams do slow down their offense, I still think the Colts are going to be a top-tier team. I think they're going to be top-tier, at least for the field goal range, with Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones, Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, all playing well. Tyler Warren playing great on this offense. They have so many tools. They have so many different ways to attack. They can tap deep with Michael Pittman Jr. They can tap across the middle with Tyler Warren. They've got Jonathan Taylor in the run game and Daniel Jones in the run game as well. They're going to be getting into field goal range even against the good teams. So this is a player like Boswell. Like I said, if you don't want to roster 2 kickers, next week Boswell is on bye. Spencer Shrader, this may be your last chance to get him before everybody realizes I have to add this guy. So this is a player I would definitely be adding for your teams this week. He's a top-tier waiver add. Number 2 is Brandon Aubrey. The big thing I'm watching out for this week is the Green Bay Packers matchup. Otherwise, Aubrey would be number 1. Most weeks, he's going to be number 1. He's got some of the best leg and some of the best accuracy in the entire league. But week 4 against Green Bay, I'm worried the Cowboys may not score that many points at all. They won't be able to move the ball at all. Dak Prescott, he hasn't been great for fantasy. He's been moving the ball, but CeeDee Lamb is out. With George Pickens needing to be a deep route guy, it's going to be a lot of Jake Ferguson in this game. By the way, that's just a free start sit for this week. You got to start Jake Ferguson, but I'm worried about everybody else in this game. Javonte Williams, worried about George Pickens, worried about Dak Prescott. Jake Ferguson is really the only Cowboy that I have to lock into lineups alongside Brandon Aubrey. Rest of the season, obviously, he's going to be amazing. I like some of these other matchups against the Jets, Carolina. We look at the fantasy football playoffs. Minnesota, that's tough. The Chargers, that may be tough. Washington, I like those as well, though. He's going to be fine. He's going to be a top-tier option. But this week in particular against Green Bay, I am worried about him. But obviously, he's still a top 2 guy for the week. But that's the only reason he's not number 1. And number 1, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe to get this video every week, is Cameron Dicker. I love this team's offense. It is so high power. 9 points week 1, 8 points week 2, 12 points week 3. And this week they're facing the Giants. A lot like we talked about at the start of the video with Will Lutz, who's available in so many leagues. Dicker, the kicker, not available in many leagues, but the number 1 kicker because of the matchup. The Chargers should score many, many points against the Giants. And if they do give up a sack or a holding in the field goal range, that's going to be where Dicker, the kicker, stands out. Now, he hasn't had much from 50-plus this year. I'm not sure what his attempts have been, but in each game, he's had opportunities. They've struggled around the goal line, giving him 2 field goals in week 2, 3 field goals in week 3, and 2 field goals in week 1. This is a top-tier option. With this matchup, he's the best option of the week.